Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? First beer review segment that I've been a part of here in almost a month. I took a bit of a break from being behind the mic, but we are back on this beautiful Friday night, July 30th, 2021. What is happening, everyone? Beer review time. I got my guy Jeremy here, who is joining me from the great state of Michigan. You can find him on Twitter at Jeremy Ander 199. He is joining us tonight because we've got not one but two beers that we will be reviewing here. An IPA and then another one that I'll kind of let Jeremy introduce once we get going on that, because that's going to be our second one for the night. But first and foremost, however, I would like to say that Mugs and Chugs is powered by our friends over at One Call Tech. Remember to check them out, One Call Tech. And Jeremy is here with me tonight. He is again out in Michigan. I'll let him introduce himself, and then we will start looking at these two amazing beers that we've got here. So what's going on, Jeremy? Welcome to the show. Happy Friday.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm Jeremy Anderson. I work for New Holland Brewing over here in Holland, Michigan. I'm the quality control manager. So I've been with the company for about 4 years now. I was the packaging manager for 3 of those. So been only in this role for about a year. But basically just managing the entire QC program of the brewery. So I got 4 beers that I gave to Juan last week when I was in Milwaukee. We're going to review 2 of them today. So the first one is Hazy River. So this is going to be a New England IPA. So we've already poured our beers. Yes. At least I have. So
well, for those who are a bit behind, myself included, this is the can right here. Beautiful can, by the way. The artwork on these is actually really nice. And like you just said, Jeremy, it is a New England style IPA. Hazy River. It is 5.9% alcohol ABV on this, and again IPA. New Holland Brewing Company, and you guys are in Michigan, correct?
Yep, yeah, we're Holland, Michigan, so that's about 30 minutes south of Grand Rapids, the great beer city of Grand Rapids. We've also got a restaurant, a brew pub in Grand Rapids, so we got a few different locations. But yeah, we've been in business for almost 25 years, since 1997. So we were one of the kind of the pioneering craft breweries in this part of the country. When New Holland opened, it was pretty much just Bell's on this side of the state and nobody else. So it was kind of a new thing. So we've been kind of growing steadily with the craft beer industry. I would say we're mostly known for stouts and IPAs at this point. We do a few other beers, but we're mostly known for the stouts and IPAs, which we're going to try to hear today. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And just in looking at this beer right now, obviously a very easy pour, but I mean the color on this is just, it's a beautiful color, very bright. I know your lighting I think is a little bit different. It probably does it a little more justice than my lighting here, but it's a very nice color. It looks pretty dense, to be honest with you. It's
brewed with a lot of wheat, a lot of oats, a lot of those kind of grains that have a lot of protein in it, give a lot of haze. A lot of foam stability, so it's a pretty juicy tasting beer.
Yeah, this looks like a really good beer, and I'm very anxious to try it. So normally here on the show we do ratings out of 10. So seeing that you do work at the brewery, you probably have your own bias, right?
A little bit
all of these beers, but I will be very honest with you, I've never had a beer from your brewery. I've never tried I don't think I've ever had Michigan beer before.
I'm pretty sure we distribute to Wisconsin. You can go on our website and look at the beer finder and just put in your zip code, and it'll tell you all the liquor stores that carry it. But I imagine you'd be able to find at least Dragon's Milk over there, and probably a few others. Probably this one as well if you look hard enough.
We have a liquor store here called. Well, I think it's across the country. It's like Total Wine and something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sure they carry it, if anything. But again, this is just a beautiful beer. I'm gonna go ahead and try it. I'm gonna see what we've got here. So, cheers! And again, this is an IPA, Hazy River New England style IPA, to be exact, 5.9% ABV. So let's see what it tastes like.
Cheers. What do you think?
Not as IPA-ish as I thought it was going to be. when you think of an IPA, right, you think of all the hops and the hoppiness of the flavor that you get from an IPA. But this one does not have any of that at all. I mean, it's a very, very smooth beer, and it goes down very easily, very nicely. Um, I could almost, to be quite honest with you, I could almost drink this just, sitting outside at the beach or something, or, at any other, just a laid back environment.
Yep.
I could see myself drinking these on a consistent basis. I mean, it doesn't taste like an IPA. It really honestly
there's
doesn't.
not a lot of it's not very bitter. There wasn't a lot of bittering hops used in this. It's mostly just hops with the aroma and the flavor. So it does go down pretty easily.
Mm-hmm. Is that a style of brewing because it is a New England style IPA?
Yeah, a lot of New England's, not every New England, but a lot of them, they use very little bittering hops. It's more just the aroma. So you get kind of a lot of like grapefruit and citrus notes just from the late hop additions and the dry hopping.
Sure. Because I know a lot of West Coast IPAs, those are very,
those
very
can be
potent.
very bitter. Yep.
Yes. Now, are you a West Coast IPA fan?
I would say, yeah. I don't typically drink IPAs. I'm more of like a German beer and a Belgian beer, Pilsners, that kind of thing. But yeah, I'll drink a West Coast IPA from time to time.
This is probably one of the very few IPAs that I personally have tried that are just, that lack a lot of that extreme bitterness content. And it's a very, it is 5%, which of course, for a lot of the beer connoisseurs who are watching, right, probably isn't the strongest beer out there. But, for a 5% beer, you'd probably expect, right, oh, it's going to taste a little stronger, the volume, the consistency, the body of the beer is going to be a little denser. But it's very light, and I like that a lot. Again, going back to the point I just made a few minutes ago, I could sit outside and just drink these, just sitting behind the grill, just drinking this. I mean, it's very good. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people who don't like IPAs because of the flavor, right? It's too much of a flavor, too much of a hoppiness component to it. It's bad. But for those of you who have not tried an IPA yet or are scared to try an IPA, I think this would be a good beginning or a good beginner's
I would say this is a good gateway beer into some of the more intense IPAs.
Mm-hmm. So while we're enjoying these, while we're enjoying this, how many beers on tap do you guys have at your location?
So
off the top of your head.
Yeah, don't quote me on this. We have I would say probably 6 or 7 like core and seasonal beers. So this is one of our core beers. We do it year round. Dragon's Milk's one of them. Then we've got some seasonals. We got a brown ale that we release in the winter called Cabin Fever. We've got some spring seasonals. We have a pumpkin beer that we release in the fall called Ichabod. It's pretty popular. But then, like I said, we have a brew pub in Grand Rapids. That's just a small system. So we do a lot of stuff, just small batch stuff there that you can only get at the pubs. And we can have anywhere from 5 to 10 of those beers on along with our regular beers. So, and if you go to one of our locations in Grand Rapids or Holland, there's probably at least 20 beers to choose from at any given time. And then a lot of times we'll have like vintages too from like previous years of Dragon's Milk or some of the other beers that age well. We'll put those on occasionally and that kind of thing.
The craft of brewing beer is it's beautiful. I mean, I have such a deep and fond respect for beer, for brewers and for just people who are continuously trying to reinvent, right, the different flavors of beer that we have available. And it's such a beautiful thing. And obviously with enough hard work, you get beers like this that are just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, this beer actually, there's a national competition called the U.S. Beer Open, and this one actually took gold in the hazy pale ale category. So we were pretty proud of that.
Wow, that is, and I, to no surprise, that's really good. And I actually already drank mine, so luckily
Nice.
I have another one in the fridge, so I will enjoy that one here. Hopefully over the weekend before I make it to the Sox game tomorrow. But we will get to baseball, just not right now. I do want to explore the second beer that we've got, though.
Yep.
If you're ready for that.
Oh yeah,
Of course.
I got another glass. I don't
Okay.
have to chug this one.
So I'll go ahead and introduce it, obviously give the name of it and all that, and then I'll let you kind of dive into more of the specifics of the beer, the characteristics of it here as I'm pouring it into the glass. But the second beer is called, this is a Dragon's Milk Bourbon Barrel Aged Stout. It is 11%, an 11% beer. And, to be quite honest with you, this may be one of the strongest beers that I think I've tried or at least have reviewed on the show. But for those who are just tuning in, Bourbon Barrel Aged Stout is what we are going to be having here. It is called the Dragon's Milk, 11% ABV, again, brewed in Michigan. And as I'm about to pour this, I'll let you go ahead and go ahead and introduce
So Dragon's Milk was one of the earliest barrel aged stouts. You think of like Goose Island, Bourbon County. I think they beat us by a couple of years, but we've been brewing this for probably close to 20 years now. It was one of the earliest ones. It's probably one of the only ones that's still brewed year round. A lot of breweries will do it. Their barrel aged stouts just like an annual release, or like a one time off. We brew this year round. We always have thousands of barrels of Dragon's Milk aging at any given time, so that kind of makes it a little bit different. So we've kind of had time to perfect the process because we do it all the time. It's about half of our volume, and we're the 50th largest craft brewery in the country. So it's over 23,000 barrels a year of Dragon's Milk. So it's a pretty big deal for us. It's distributed everywhere that we sell beer. So I think we're in 46 or 47 states at this point. So you can get it pretty much anywhere. It's aged for 3 months in Kentucky bourbon barrels. So we get those from a broker in Kentucky who will age, those barrels have a lot of the commonly known bourbons that in Kentucky. And we use each barrel twice, and then we either reuse it or send it back to be rebuilt or repurposed. So each blend of Dragon's Milk is a different blend of first and second use barrels. So there is some natural variability from batch to batch because there is just some natural variability in the bourbon barrels themselves. But usually the flavors you'll get from it are kind of like chocolate, coffee, vanilla, obviously some bourbon, some cherry sometimes. So you get some of that vanilla and cherry, and sometimes it can kind of be a little reminiscent of Dr. Pepper. But
are you able to? Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I want to do this before I forget. But do you know which barrels are coming in that you guys are going to use? Like if they're like, do you have an idea as to what?
Well, sometimes they'll say like what the distillery is on the barrel. But there's so many different ones, and each batch is several hundred barrels. So it's not like one will have a significant impact on the flavor. But just the different blends of barrels that we get are kind of what lends to the natural variability of Dragon's Milk. And that's why I think it's an interesting beer. Because some batches you might get a little more chocolate, some batches you might get a little more vanilla, but it's all still within that same kind of realm of being Dragon's Milk. And I think it's one of the easier drinking 11% stouts, if there is such a thing. It's not like overly cloyingly sweet. It's pretty I feel like it's pretty balanced beer, where you're not going to drink it and just feel like you can't drink anymore. Like it can be dangerous, admittedly, but I think it's pretty sweet.
Are you speaking from experience?
Yeah, that's kind of I have a bad habit of when it's like 1 or 2 in the morning and I'm down here and I'm like, I should crack open a Dragon's Milk after I've been drinking for 4 or 5 hours, and then I regret it the next morning. But it's so readily available in my house that I just can't resist. But I just found this one. I was looking for a Dragon's Milk, and I found this one. I usually don't age beers. I like to drink them fresh, but I found this in the back of my fridge. This is from 2017. So Dragon's Milk is a beer that a lot of people will cellar. They'll age it and then drink it a couple years later because it develops some different flavors over time. Some like dark fruit, like fig, like sherry kind of flavors. I prefer it fresh. So I'm not one of those people, but I forgot I had this in my fridge. It kind of got buried behind some other stuff. So this is what I'm going to crack open today here.
Oh God! So this is a Mugs and Chugs exclusive.
Yeah, and this is
an
22
aged
ounces.
beer.
I'm going to need some help.
I was going to say that one. And by the way, just as you're pouring out, shout out to you and of course your wife. I know you guys were up here in Milwaukee last week.
Yeah, we had a great time
last weekend, and you know, for those who don't know, I mean, I'm sure everyone knows right now because we were on social media posting it all the time. But what an amazing tailgate that was held here at AmFam Stadium in Milwaukee. I mean, there was tacos. It was hot as hell outside. It was 94, I believe, hot and humid. But you know, you guys rolled through, obviously, you know, and it was just a fantastic time. So you know, thanks to you guys for coming out from Michigan and you know making the trip over.
Thank you for putting that tailgate together. That was a blast.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Were fantastic.
Yeah, thank you, and shout out to my friend Albert. He was the one behind the grill. I was just kind of there. I was just kind of there, introducing myself and being the host. You know, making sure I was making an appearance everywhere I could, so people wouldn't feel left
Jello
out.
shots were fantastic as well.
One day we'll review Jello shots on the live show. All right, so let's go ahead and give this a try. Before we actually give this one a try, though, I want to give a rating on this one on the IPA, only because I want to give it its due diligence here. So, the New Holland Hazy River New England style IPA, again 5.9%. I'm probably gonna give it a. Oh man, this is hard. Only because I liked it.
I won't judge your decision.
Only because I liked it. Number one, number two, because you're sitting here on the stream with me, and you're gonna hate me. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna go with an 8.5.
Solid.
I'm gonna give it an 8.5. I think it's a really good beer. It's really refreshing. You know, like I said, like I said 10 minutes ago, I can totally sit back, drink these, not feel like I'm getting the overpowering IPA taste that is common with a lot of those West Coast IPAs. It's just it's good. It's a good refreshing taste, and it's a light beer. And it's a great beer for beginners, you know, who are trying to get into those IPAs, because a lot of people just don't like IPAs. So I think an IPA is fair. I mean, an 8.5 is fair on that one. So with that being said, I'm not going to ask you what you're going to rate them, because I know you're going to say 10 across the board.
Absolutely. I'm obligated to.
Otherwise, you know, you're going to show up on Monday morning, you're fired.
Yeah, my key card won't work when I try to go.
Exactly. So let's go ahead and try this one, though, because I'm very interested to taste this one. Again, 11% on the ABV. A bourbon barrel aged stout, Dragon's Milk, out of Holland, Michigan. Cheers. Let's see what it tastes like. Oh my. Oh. Wow.
Yours is a bit fresher than mine, so I don't think we're tasting the same thing.
I was gonna say, what I want to start with you, because you're drinking one that's been aged.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to. We actually might have different. I think for this one we might actually have different ratings for it, though.
Right.
So I'm gonna let you go first, and I'm interested to know what you are going to rate this, because you've had that in the fridge since 2017.
Yeah. Yeah. To me, the age is pretty obvious. There's still some like chocolate, some vanilla, but I get those oxidation flavors. A little bit of coffee, but yeah, a lot of it's kind of faded, but I would definitely prefer it fresh. I mean, some people like these flavors. It's got a little bit of dark fruit character, but it's not worth aging it for 4 years to get that. I feel like it's better without these kind of oxidation flavors.
So what do you think is the big appeal then to aging it? Like, what, at least at least based on what you've been told, because obviously you said that a lot of people like to age it. So what
Yeah.
is that?
So
what are they getting out of that?
I feel like part of it is just a lack of education on beer and people thinking that it ages like wine. I'm of the belief that you should drink beer as fresh as possible, no matter what the style. But people, a lot of people will pay a lot of money for a beer and then not want to drink it or try to save it for an occasion or whatever. I think you're doing yourself a disservice if you spend a bunch of money on a great beer and then you let it sit in your fridge for a year. It's not going to get any better with time. I mean, it'll change over time. There's some beers that you don't want to age at all, obviously, like any beer that has a lot of hops in it, any IPA or anything like that. They're just going to taste like wet newspaper after a while. But these darker beers, I can see why people would do it if but these I feel like it's much better fresh, and the little bit of like unique character you get out of it, the dark fruits, whatever, it's okay, but it doesn't compare to having a fresh Dragon's Milk with those vibrant vanilla, those chocolate flavors. It kind of covers up those flavors. So yeah, part of it is just people not understanding that beer is better fresh, which is kind of a struggle to educate consumers sometimes. But then the other part of it is just personal preference. But I think any beer is better fresh, to be honest.
It's very intriguing how different people have such a different taste or have a different palate. I'm with you. I'm in the same boat, Jeremy. Like the closest to aging that I got was I accidentally bought a case of expired beer back in the winter. Like, and I tried it and I'm like, this is gross. It's flat. Like it's flat. Number one, it's flat.
Yep.
It just tastes old. Like, it's just sitting in a can. Like it tastes gross.
Yep.
I don't know what the appeal is. I am in no position to tell people what they can or can't eat. Like that's not, I'm not, but what I can do is give my opinion on what it actually tastes like, and that just tastes gross. I mean,
yeah, I think there's some thought too that higher alcohol beers need some time to kind of smooth out, which is not entirely true. I mean, I feel like it can be true to an extent, but for the most part, the alcohol heat is not going to go away with age. Really, it's just going to be covered up by less desirable flavors. So I feel like that's part of people just not understanding that, or thinking that they don't want the beer to be too hot or too boozy when they first open it, so they're going to let it age for a little bit, but that's not really how it works.
Right. Yeah, it's I'm never going to forget that, going to the store.
Yeah, I always check the day codes
coming back
on
home.
Anything that I buy.
Well, because, every time I go there, right, this particular supermarket that I go to, it's like, I know what I'm getting. I know that they do they do their due diligence and making sure that it's all good. And this time that just wasn't the case. It was just, I got home, it was like 2 months expired. I'm like, what the hell? I was like, fine, I'll drink it. It'll be fine. No, I drank it. I opened one up. The nastiest beer I've ever had in my life. It was so gross. It was horrible. But in any case, this beer, as dangerous as it is, 11%. The first thing I taste is the coffee. But then once it goes down, I get the hint of vanilla, and that's what I like. I love vanilla. And that is exactly what I'm getting from this. I'm going to go a 9.1 out of 10 on this beer.
Nice.
That is absolutely fantastic. And again, for being an 11% beer, super, super delicious. It is very good. So no complaints. No complaints there. Austin, how are you, sir?
Hello, good.
Hello.
Okay, as good as I can be.
Ladies and gentlemen, checking the time here. Oh man, let's see. We're about 26 minutes into the show, and if you're just tuning in, we just tried some amazing beer, and I'm going to put the cans up here and the bottle. But we just tried a New Holland Brewing Company Hazy River New England Style IPA, right here, approximately 5.9% beer, very delicious. And also the one we just tried, we just got done reviewing, is this bourbon barrel aged stout, Dragon's Milk. It's called 11% ABV. Again, brewed in Michigan. There is the bottle, and I just gave it a 9.1 rating because it is absolutely fantastic. But yet, it is absolutely very dangerous because it is 11%.
We also do variants of that too. So about 3 or 4 times a year, we'll release a Dragon's Milk Reserve. So we'll add kind of different flavors to it. We did like a s'mores one, like a vanilla one, a rum barrel one. We've done quite a few of them, but I would look out for those. If you like the Dragon's Milk, you should be able to find the Dragon's Milk Reserves in Wisconsin as well.
It is just an absolutely amazing, it's, again, I mean, I can't say enough about this beer. It's so good. I'm going to look for this brand, though, here in Wisconsin moving forward. I really want to explore more of those beers. And again, I know there is another one, a third one you gave me that I'm going to go try once we get done here. But I'll shoot you a text after I do that. But
sure, you'll like it.
Yes. In the meantime, however, I want to talk baseball because holy shit.
Yeah, what a day. I got my
What
Chris
a
Bryant
day.
jersey on.
Yes. Austin is a White Sox fan. He is here with us. I invited him on. There's Jeremy. There's Jeremy flexing. I do want to point something out to you guys, though, and for those who are watching, look at the poster I have behind me. Do you see that Javi Baez Tim Anderson poster?
Yeah.
What do I do with
you keep it up there?
What do I do with that? What do I do?
You got to keep it up there. Javi's a legend. If you're gonna get rid of it, I'm not gonna use it, but you should keep it up. You should keep it up.
I got one with Nick Madrigal on it. I don't know if you can. There it is, right behind me there. That one.
Yes, I do see Nick Madrigal back there. So that nice. so for those who don't know, obviously, if you haven't observed, obviously Jeremy flexing his hat right there, but we got a White Sox fan, we have a Cubs fan, and we have another White Sox fan in me. So the purpose of this obviously is not to sit here and roast Austin because he's a Cubs fan. For those who don't know, I love Austin. Austin's one of my good friends, but I do want to get. I want to have a conversation with you, Austin, about what has happened today, because what has transpired in the last 24 hours has been probably one of the most intensive yet excruciating things for a single fan base to have happen in such a short span of time.
Yeah.
I tweeted earlier this evening. I said I was going to start the segment off with this, and I'm going to keep my promise. July the 30th will forever be a day that lives in infamy for Cubs fans on the north side. You guys lost Anthony Rizzo. You lost Javi Baez. You lost Chris Bryant. I believe you guys lost John Lester as well to the Cards.
John Lester was on the Nationals, and then he got traded to the Cardinals. So it's just double whammy because Lester's always going to be a Cubby. But
yeah, so
yeah, and Craig Kimbrell
Craig Kimbrell coming down to the south side.
Sox. Yeah, you guys
and
got
then
a good one there.
Yep, and then yesterday we also got I'm going to
Tempura. Tempura.
Yep. So 2 trades went down the red line to the south side.
Yeah.
Baez, Rizzo, and everyone else, they all went out elsewhere. What I need to know what are just lay it out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fresh off watching 2016 highlights like 40 minutes ago. But I don't know. It's like a combination of we knew that this was coming, and also it sucks because it happened. I didn't expect all 3 of our stars to get traded, Bryant, Rizzo, and Baez. I knew Kimbrell was gone. Baez was likely gone. I thought Rizzo was staying, but Rizzo was the first to go out of the 3, which was surprising. So after Rizzo went, we were like, they might all be gone. It sucks. Like, they came here and they got that World Series, which was one of the hardest championships to ever win in any sport, to break that 108-year curse. But they came and they did what they had to do, and they're forever going to be remembered in Chicago, and they love Chicago. I mean, Javi's got a street in Chicago. They have so many. Yeah, shut up, Al. I know. There's so many. There's so many different. Like we love Rizzo and we love KB, and they always love Chicago. So it's definitely hard. I know the Cubs are going to try to go after him at the end of the season because all their contracts expire. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, it definitely sucks. They came and they did their thing. But the good thing is we got really good prospects. Our farm system, they loaded that up. So future's looking decent. They're going to have a lot of really good guys that they already have, and now other guys coming in that they traded for. So I'm feeling pretty good in terms of the future. But for now, yeah, it sucks. We're, back to old lovable losers. But that's how so we are.
You guys ended up taking one of our own, obviously, in the trade, and you guys got Nick Madrigal, Nicky Two Strikes, as he was called down on the south side.
Nice, that's a great nickname.
Yeah,
I'm so pumped.
let it be known that Nick Madrigal will be missed. I was a pleasure watching him. Getting his first career home run against the Minnesota Twins back in May. I believe it was in May. He has a bright future. Is he injured right now? Yes, he's injured right now. But that kid can play. I mean, he has a lot of potential, and I just truly hope that the Cubs are able to to make him out to be what he truly can be, right, with full potential up on the north side. What I do want to say though, real quick, is I want to ask you, Austin, as a Cubs fan, of course, with the way that this whole thing transpired, right? With Anthony Rizzo, I think yesterday was that none of them played yesterday, right? None of them were able to get that last standing ovation at Wrigley. What are your thoughts on that? I mean,
that sucks. The fact that they benched them on their last day, I thought that was just stupid. They were on the bench and they were available the whole game,
right?
And they just never came in. I thought that was really stupid and really annoying. Rizzo there were like hundreds of fans outside of Wrigley after the stadium or after the game, and Rizzo got a huge ovation as he walked to his car. Deservingly so, but obviously we wish Chris Bryant, we wish we were giving him, gave him a send off, and Javier Baez for all that they've done for us. It sucks. I mean, Craig Kimbrel he's only here for about a year, but yeah, it definitely stinks. I wish they got that final bat so that they can get, see that standing ovation that they deserve. But when they're back in Wrigley, they'll absolutely get some ovations, obviously playing against us, but hoping that the Cubs can land one of them in the offseason after their contracts expire. But I don't know. The Ricketts are cheap, and I doubt that they're going to do anything there. But yeah, it's tough. It still kind of hasn't hit yet. And the Cubs have a great young core. I don't even know if they're going to be playing Madrigal next year because they have Davis, who's killing it in the minor leagues right now, and then they have Nico Horner, that's going to be their middle of the infield. So Patrick Wisdom, he plays outfield or third. I think he plays third. So I don't really know what they're going to do, to be honest with you. So we'll see. But ultimately, yeah, just a tough day. It was a trade deadline for the ages. I mean, I don't think an MVP has ever been traded before. So that was also one of the first to get traded. I saw something like that. So Chris Bryant being one of the first to do that. It was just, I don't know. Just, you hear the somberness in my voice. It sucks.
And I'm sure Jeremy, I'm sure you agree with this, but I mean, I think what happened today on the north side would be the equivalent of, if we lost Abreu, if we lost Anderson, Moncada, that would be. I mean, that'd be it. I mean,
especially if they had won a World Series too.
Exactly.
Make it harder.
Exactly. I mean, the South Side would legitimately be in shambles if that would have happened. I mean,
I'm not looking forward to that day if it does, which it probably will.
Right. It's inevitable. It is. This at the end of the day, this is a business, and it's very unfortunate, right? Because in a business, you have to the way that you look at these things, right, is you want to make sure that the pieces that you have are benefiting the overall scheme of said business. And so somewhere along the line, the Ricketts said, these players, maybe they're just not producing for our business that we have on the north side. Hence, Baez now on the Mets, Bryant's over on the Giants, Rizzo's with the Yankees. I believe the Yankees are playing right now as we speak. Which, by the way, I don't know if you guys saw. I think Austin, you saw, but Anthony Rizzo is out there wearing Chicago-based or Chicago-themed gloves.
That was
so
sick.
Obviously, somewhere in there, his heart is still with the city of Chicago. I mean,
all of them will be. They're
Right.
essentially all homegrown from Chicago.
Right. And Javi Baez, if I recall, he made a comment earlier today. He said that he would definitely be open to coming back to Chicago in free agency in the winter. So who knows? This might not be the end of Javi's tenure in the Windy City. But for now, at this very moment, what has transpired in the last 24 hours since the Anthony Rizzo trade happened yesterday, I mean, it's been a train wreck for you guys up on the north side.
Yeah, they're doing a whole fire sale. I mean, they're literally
y'all
redefining a fire sale. All of our stars are gone. We just have Contreras now. Wisdom, who's, I don't want to say he's young, but he's new in the league, and I don't know. They just got a lot of farm system guys. I'm sure they got some cash with it as well, but just a ton of farm system in return, which I'm not too mad at, but it sucks. I mean, it just sucks. And it almost seemed like it was time as well, because as much as we loved watching them, they had that like crazy long 11-game losing streak this season. The last couple of years, they haven't been performing the way that they should be together. So maybe a change of scenery will help them. It's cool that Baez and Rizzo will be right near each other, and Baez gets to go play with Lindor. That's awesome. Rizzo gets to join a stacked Yankees lineup that just continues to suck, but it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Sorry. I just want to make this very known right now. I do not mean any hate towards the Cubs, and I know some of my tweets earlier. Austin, I know you were on my case this afternoon. When I was like, Javi Baez jersey, like on the way. Shout out to Luke and Chris here of the network.
Stirring the pot.
Hey, I meant it. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go out and get a Javi Baez jersey now that he's on the Mets.
Wouldn't get a Cubs one though.
What's up?
You wouldn't get a Cubs one though.
I'm not gonna get a Cubs one though. Why would I get a Cubs one?
Okay.
I don't like to rep poverty, Austin. Oh, too soon. Way too soon.
Just win a World Series recently, and then we can talk. Like, no shame. I hope the Sox do it this year. I mean, I have nothing against the White Sox. I love watching those guys play. Those guys are so entertaining. They're fun to watch. And you guys have Lance Lynn, right? That's your closer.
No, he's the closer. He's our starter. He's our starter.
Hendricks?
Yep, Liam Hendricks, and now
Hendricks. So now you have Hendricks and Kimbrel, and that's going to be fucking sick in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
A 1-2 punch in the playoffs is so important. So and they're gonna. I saw that they're gonna try both in the save position,
yes,
or in that ninth, the ninth inning spot, and see which works better. But regardless, like those guys 1-2 in the 8th and 9th, that's gonna be like sick. Like Kimbrel he got it back this year, and he's been lights out. So those two back to back are going to be like really lights out.
I truly hope so, because and I know a lot of the speculation now has been that because we do have Craig Kimbrel, I don't recall which Chicago personality said it, but they said whoever gets Craig Kimbrel.
Oh, it was like Larry Meyer.
Yeah, it might have been from 670
yeah.
670 the score.
Yep.
If whoever gets Kimbrel is going to win the World Series, and it just happens to be that the Sox got Kimbrel.
Yeah, I mean the Cubs traded for Aroldis Chapman midseason to win a World Series with him. It's just right. I mean, closers are so important as you get to the postseason.
Hey Juan, I don't know if you're watching the Sox game. All right, you got it on?
I don't.
Moncada just hit a home run that bounced off the fielder's glove.
Oh, that's going to be on SportsCenter now.
Center fielder and right fielder ran into each other. It bounced off of one of their gloves and it went out of the ballpark.
So it's a home run.
Yeah.
What's the score? Who are we playing again? I don't even...
2-1 Cleveland. Cleveland put up 2 in the first inning.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Okay. In any case, I'm not gonna.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, I'm not gonna worry about Cleveland right now because Cleveland is. Really quickly, Austin. While I have you here, though, however, I want to talk Bears for just a few minutes. Since
Sure.
Obviously, Jeremy, I hope you're a Bears fan. I know you're a diehard Sox fan.
I grew up a Bears fan, so I can relate. My dad's still a Bears fan, so.
Who do you root for now?
I did root for New Orleans because I'm a Purdue grad and they had Drew Brees, but now I'm kind of in limbo. So maybe I'll go back to the Bears.
No, we don't take bandwagons.
I kind of stopped watching during the Jay Cutler era because I couldn't stand that fucking guy.
Based on what we've seen from Bears camp, obviously none of us are there. Neither of us are there because
they're stupid ticket prices.
Because there's stupid up, and we're not going to get into that. God, I'm so okay. Anyway, based on what we've seen, the very limited reports that we've seen from Justin Fields' performance on the field, Andy Dalton, what do we think? I mean, I know obviously it's only like day 3 or whatever of camp, and yesterday you had all these people flocking to social media. Oh my God, like what's happening? I'm like, dude, calm down. It's day freaking 2. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and the other thing is like in sports, which a lot of people don't remember for some reason, but everybody has not perfect days. So Justin Fields comes into the NFL and he's like the perfect prospect. He's the perfect guy, and everybody, and then obviously he makes some mistakes, and it's the end of the world. But it's kind of how you expect a rookie to be in terms of rookie and vet. Andy Dalton is commanding the offense. He's familiar with the offense, and he looks strong. So far he's made some bad throws. He almost threw a pick to is Eddie Goldman, I think, today or something like that. And yeah, he's it's not a concern. It looks like both guys are doing all right, and they're going to be the best 2 quarterbacks we've had in a while. So I think ultimately with a full preseason and taking the first reps, if Andy Dalton starts, I don't think it's going to be a huge problem. Now, granted, it is July, so we're really not going to know until the preseason games start in August, but I'm so excited to watch Justin Fields. He is going to be it's going to be just so much fun to watch him. He looks sharp. He looks smooth with his mechanics. I mean, he just looks comfortable. So seeing how he commands the offense, actual gameplay is going to be a lot of fun. But I would expect Andy Dalton to start. He looks strong. He looks commanding. The guys are getting behind Andy Dalton. So I would expect him to start the season, and we'll see where it goes from there. I think the one thing I'd be worried about is our cornerback position. Jalen Johnson kind of getting beat here and there, not looking the greatest. Our safeties based off the reports, seem to be looking all right. Eddie Goldman and the line seem to be killing it up front. So I think our cornerbacks are going to be a little bit of an issue. I think Jalen, I don't have much worry, even though Jalen fell off a little bit at the end of the year last year. I think we'll be okay there. But yeah, ultimately, kind of what you would expect. Andy Dalton's showing out. He looks strong. He looks like the 11-year vet coming in and running an offense.
He's got that beard going too. I don't know if you've seen the pictures.
Yeah. He looks like he's been studying the playbook for a little too long.
I saw the memes. One of them was like, I'll have you home by 11 to she comes home when I tell you she's coming home. Just like the long beard just growing out, and it's like, oh man, it's yeah, but I truly hope that Andy Dalton can, at least I hope he can start the season off, and just get us some wins at the very beginning.
It's a tough start, but the weeks like 2 to 5 are the soft spot in the season. So, if you're going to make a change to Fields, you're going to have to make it quick. That's going to be your big thing. So, if Andy flops week 1, maybe you try Fields week 2, or if Fields middle of game week 2. I don't really know, but if you want to have a good season, you got to make a swift decision because our schedule is very tough this year.
Absolutely. And I see Adam is commenting right now. Very quick, I want to give a shout out to Adam. He actually just had another grandchild who was born, I think, either late last night, early this morning. So congratulations, Adam. I sincerely, God bless, of course, hope that the baby is doing okay, and great family that the baby was born into, of course. So, but Yes, I truly hope that Justin Fields, if he does get into the game, that he can definitely produce for the Bears. Definitely his speed is what I'm going to be looking forward to the most. He's a very athletic individual. We've all seen those pictures of him, with when he was training with with Jordan Love. I mean, the kid is jacked. I mean, he is just he's very in shape.
And he's got so much experience too. He's got almost the most experience you can get coming out of college, having played in the big games, high school, the big camps. He's got so much experience. So if there's a guy you want, it's this guy. So
absolutely, absolutely, yeah. I mean, I hope so. I mean, I was gonna bring up the drama that unfolded up in Green Bay, of course, this week, but I'm gonna refrain from all that. I don't want to talk about Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, yeah.
I really don't.
Yeah. It's whatever. He's back. Whatever.
He's back, and I believe David Bakhtiari gifted him a golf cart. I think it was today, and I'm like, that's great. That is just great.
For
that
what?
at least he
came back. He just showed up at camp. Why do you got to give him a gift?
I'm like, that's great. At least he has something, that he can just jump into real quick and just drive out of Green Bay when his contract is up.
Yeah, or it's like he's just like, hey, thanks for coming back. I appreciate it. Here's a gift.
Here's a golf cart. Here's a golf cart just for you.
Thanks for coming back. He doesn't need that. He can buy it. If I was David, I'd give him a paper certificate and be like, here, go buy yourself a golf cart.
Just give him an award, like a little certificate. Like,
thanks for coming back.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming back.
Here is your participation. Here is your participation.
So
here is your participation trophy
hilarious
for showing up to work.
That would be so funny.
Oh my god! It's I don't know. I just find it very, very amusing that. God, yeah, what's happening up in Green Bay is just very funny.
It doesn't seem like it's going to be too long. He's going to be staying. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. And, you even just listening to that press conference he gave yesterday, I mean, you can tell that there is some animosity that's left there from what, all the crap that has transpired throughout the past, throughout the summer. And if you really sit down and think about it, it's like you could have avoided all of this drama if you literally just would have said what is on your mind and what's happening. But instead you played around it, like you went on national television on ESPN, didn't even bother to clear anything up. Like you just kept all these fans waiting and waiting and waiting with all this anticipation. Like what is going to happen? Like what kind of a leader, a quarterback, a franchise quarterback does that? I mean, that's just so.
And then he shows up with a man bun.
Exactly. It's just so it's so immature and petty, but does it surprise me at this point? No. It's Aaron Rodgers. We all know he's a diva. We all know it.
Being as good as he is, he can do whatever he wants. I mean, that's the unfortunate thing.
Right.
He can do whatever he wants, and he knows he has got Green Bay around his finger. So
yes,
he's right though. When he leaves, Green Bay is going to be not a very popular place for free agents and other guys to go to. So they would be a poverty franchise for a while once Aaron Rodgers leaves, unless Jordan Love comes out of nowhere. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's not looking the future is not looking too bright for Green Bay. But what can you do? You just hate to see it, right? So,
and you're almost forced to play Jordan Love next year because his rookie contract, you're gonna have to decide what you're doing with his fifth year eventually. So you got to give him at least a year or two
to develop, and
you almost have to play Jordan Love like next year. So
has he played a snap? I don't even think he's played a snap.
He might have played like one snap if Rodgers had. I don't think he was hurt at all last year, so I don't even
remember like ever see maybe in like a preseason game. I don't even recall.
He's played preseason.
Yeah, it's not looking too good up there, but whatever.
One more year.
Well, one more year of this, and then Jordan Love is the future, and don't want to overhype him, but we'll see what happens. But in any case, Jeremy, any last thoughts here before we sign off for the night?
No, not really. Sad day for the Cubs. Like I said, I imagine that day is going to come for the Sox in a few years, but hopefully we have won a World Series by that point. Ease the pain a little bit.
Yeah, we go win a World Series, go win a couple. Be cool to see. and then we could all be happy in peace during baseball season.
It's still
together.
gonna hurt.
I will definitely be dragging Austin out to the parade.
Man, that's a big ask.
That will happen. That
That's
will
a tall
happen.
ask for me.
And it just happens to be also, Jeremy, I don't know if you saw, but Austin will actually be going to a Crosstown Classic game with me in the latter
actually,
part of August.
for
the Sunday game?
Yes.
For my
Nice.
14 years I've lived here, when I was a kid and now, I have never been to a Crosstown Classic.
Wow.
I know. I've been to a million Cubs games, but I've never been to a Crosstown Classic. Of course, I remember like Michael Barrick socking AJ Przinsky or things like that. I went to a. I mean, you'd be happy with this. I got this. I'll show you this. Hold on, look at this. I got this 2001 World Series baseball from when I went to the Yankees Cleveland game. When it was,
Wow.
I don't remember what it was before, but I got Comiskey. I got a baseball thrown from the first baseman coming off the field, and I was like, 2000. This was in 2002, so I was like 7, and I caught it, trapped it on the dugout. It rolled down the dugout to this old guy who picked it up and was like, yeah, and I turned around and I just started crying, and all these people are booing him, and they're like, dude, it's okay, don't cry. And Kenny Lofton sees it, and he gets a baseball. He gets a baseball from the dugout, throws it to my dad, and he's like, give that to your son or whatever. And he gave it to me. This is probably
That's
the
awesome.
coolest thing. 2000. I looked at it, 2001 World Series baseball, like really dope. So I love Kenny Lofton.
So you've been weeping for a while. You just don't want to admit it.
Weeping for a while. No, you should. If you would have been like you've been a closet Sox fan for a while, I would have been like, yeah. I mean, you could say that. No, everybody's weeping since they're kids. What are you talking about? Boo! Bad joke. Boo! 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 Bad joke. Yeah, that was a tough time. I was disappointed and really happy in this short span.
God. Well, we will be at the Crosstown Classic in the latter part of August.
Yeah, that's gonna be a crazy day.
Hey, if you want to go to the Saturday game, I'll probably be at that one.
No one wants to go with Jeremy.
Jeez, he's one's on one.
I'm gonna end it with this. Before you got on, Austin, Jeremy and his wife came to Milwaukee last week for the Saturday game, and it was Brewers and Sox game, of course. The series that we ultimately inevitably lost, but it's fine. It's fine. It's all good.
We had fun.
Brewers-
It was fine.
Yeah, Brewers are still better than the Cubs and will be for a while, but it's all good.
Gee.
That Dragon's milk's getting to you, isn't it?
Yeah, I
It
can
is.
tell. I
It
can
is a
tell,
little bit.
for
Yeah, it is a
sure,
little bit.
for
Yep.
sure.
It's 11%. I'm doing my best here. I have not fallen off my chair yet, which is good.
He's gonna stand up after this and like fall over.
I probably am. My cats are gonna come over to me like, "What the f- is wrong with you?" But
Yeah.
no. But what I was gonna say was, Jeremy and his wife were at we're up here in Milwaukee last week, and it was a fantastic time. So if we ever do cross paths with him and his family at the Sox Stadium or wherever it may be, it'll be beautiful.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I don't know where you're going with that. But yeah.
And I am intoxicated. You're right. Okay, so we're gonna end,
All right.
we're gonna end the live stream.
It will be beautiful.
It will be beautiful. Believe me, it'll be the best time ever. Jeremy, I hate you.
As long as they're jello shots.
As long as
I guess
there's
that's
Jell-O
Juan's
shots.
Specialty. One's like a soccer mom with her orange peels every Saturday. She's like, I got Jello shots.
We were passing those out like candy on Halloween.
Yeah.
Austin, I had my bag.
Yeah,
walking
exactly.
around-
You're a soccer
walking
mom.
around.
You're like a tailgate mom.
He's giving them to Brewers fans.
Make sure you guys are staying hydrated. Here's your Jello shots.
I hate you guys.
All right, you need me to sign off for you?
No, I will sign off. You can follow Austin at PodGuy Fugues. You can follow Jeremy at JeremyAnder199 at Lounge Room Prez. Yours truly. Remember to follow the page at Mugs Chugs Lounge. Follow the network at Lounge Room Net on Twitter. Have a good night, everyone. Stay safe. Have a good weekend. I am going to go lay down because this 11% beer is getting to me.
Drink some water, Juan.
Jeremy, I hate you so much for doing this to me. It is not even 8 o'clock yet, and I am intoxicated. And it's
another beer.
I'm not going to go get another beer. I'm going to go get a water because Jeremy is trying to kill me.
Yep.
So the live stream will end right now. On Point Discussion returns Monday afternoon. Yes, I will be 100% sober for that. Don't worry. We have a special guest who will be joining us from Detroit on Monday night. That is a sneak preview for you all watching. I will do my best to not troll the Detroit fan base so much. Have a great weekend, everyone. I will be at the Sox game tomorrow. Expect some more pictures. And then Austin, of course, and I will be at the Crosstown Classic August 29th, if I'm not mistaken. So see you all soon. And the broadcast of the Mugs and Chugs Friday night edition ends right now.